In today's Sharp Saturday video, we're going to take a look at another knife from the folks at Jeo Tec, the Jeo Tec number 9. And we may talk about the pronunciation of this thing again. That's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for trustworthy information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me. So, the folks at Jeo Tec were kind enough to send me several knives several months ago for the Sharp Saturday series. And this is, I think, the last one I've got right now in my hot little hands to review. This is, again, the number 9. Is that in focus? Hopefully it's in focus. So, and this is available in several versions. This is the micarta with a coated blade version. It's got kind of that rough traction coating. Feels pretty good. First initial impressions. We're going to get to doing some knife stuff, and we're going to talk real briefly about the pronunciation of their brand name, Jeo Tec, J-E-O space T-E-C. We're going to do that right after this word from one of our sponsors. This video is sponsored by Big Daddy Unlimited. Big Daddy Unlimited is a membership-based buyers club, and as a member, you have the ability to buy pretty much anything you can think of related to guns and ammo and shooting at wholesale pricing. And right now you can get a 30-day trial membership for 99 cents a month. After that it's $10 a month, and that's going to allow you to buy guns, ammo, shooting supplies, knives, tactical gear, just again all sorts of things at a huge discount. If you buy very much at all, you're going to more than pay for your $10 a month. So anyway, I'm a member and it's definitely saving me money. I'll put a link in the description below. You can go check them out for the first month for just 99 cents. See if you think it's going to be a good deal for you. I know for me it was. Okay, we're back. So before we get to doing some of the knife stuff, I want to talk real quickly about the pronunciation of Jeo Tec. So the last time I made a video, this, by the way, they're a Spanish company, and the last time I made a video, I think I made something to the effect of, I say Jeo Tec because I'm American, even though in Spanish the J is pronounced as a H in English sound. So in Spanish it might be Jeo Tec, but I read in English, I don't read in Spanish. And so anyway, bottom line, somebody just completely, apparently I just offended the heck out of somebody's sensibilities because they were offended as an American. I think they may not even have been Americans, but they said that was the problem was some it was an insult to Americans to pronounce, just to think that I had to pronounce it like an American because I'm American, because it's a Spanish word. And man, I'm just telling you, if that's all you got to worry about, you got it made. Because I'm gonna get into this whole cultural appropriation thing and all that. Man, there's too many people that get offended about too much stuff these days. I'll just say that. And so if you get offended by my pronunciation of a brand name, oh well. So anyway, I'm calling it Jeo Tec because, again, I am English and I pronounce things the way English people pronounce them. So you know, it's funny because I work around a bunch of Hispanic people, and they pronounce a lot of English words with Hispanic pronunciation, and it doesn't really offend me. But anyways, how's that for a little side note, a little rambling, total rambling. Let's talk about this knife, and then we'll get to doing some knife stuff, and we'll wrap this up. And yes, we're going to balance test it. I'll just go ahead and tell you that right now, because this feels like it's going to balance test very well. So I thought, let me take you down to your stump up here. We'll talk about the specs of this thing, and then we'll get to doing some knife stuff. Okay, here's the Jeo Tec number 9, and let's talk about this knife for a minute. Features an overall length of 11 inches. But for those of you still stuck in that old metric system, I probably just offended some more people. That's 280 millimeters. Has a blade length of 6 inches or 150 millimeters. A blade thickness of 0.2 inches or 5 millimeters. The steel is molybdenum vanadium with HRC 56 to 58. This handle is micarta. I think it's also available with Cocobolo, and features the one of the really nice things about most of these Jeo Tec knives. It features a really nice leather sheath, which gives you the ability to use scout carry or belt carry, and it has a little pouch on front with a little sharpening stone, very small sharpening stone. This is a natural whetstone, and it says never use oil, only use water. And it also comes with a just a really basic little ferro rod. This one's got, you know, they'll come with these little strikers on them. and a little ferro rod loop on it. And then the knife fits in like so, very nicely, with a snap retention there. And again, very, very nice sheath, leather sheath, with a leg strap on it. And a little sewn in plastic ring on the bottom. So there's that. Now, by the way, as I said, this thing is made in Spain, and the retail on this thing is about 130 bucks on Amazon. And I wasn't able to find this particular version with the black on Amazon, so you kind of have to hunt for these. Anyway, now let's get to doing some knife stuff. Okay, so they are advertising this as a bushcraft knife, so we're going to do my standard set of bushcraft tests. Before we do that, I just want to show a couple things I really didn't give you in the close-ups. This thing has a little bit of jimping right here, but it's very, very, it's good jimping, I think. Also has some nice orange liners on it, a little exposed pommel here with a lanyard hole, and then a sharpening, we'll call that a choil there, I guess, with a little finger guard here. A pretty good sized handle, it feels good. Blade has a little bit of a swedge here, thickens up pretty thick here, and then the edge seems to be thicker right in here. But first, before we do anything, let's do the redneck sharp test, because I like to do that. And let's see, so this part of the blade, let's see, well, it's shaving pretty good. Let's see, this part of the blade up here is pretty good. Part here, we're gonna try down here now. And oh yeah, it does pretty good too. Not great. Let's see. Okay, depends on how the angle you put it at. Yeah, so even the thick part here does pretty good. I got hair all over it now. Let's try one more up at the very tip. So the very tip is not quite as sharp. It's got a lot steeper secondary grind there because it's pretty thick there, which is good. So I know a lot of people like to do this break test. I never do that, but this is pretty thick. I might just do it with this one, just so everybody can see. And it's not going, the tip's not going to bend or break. Everybody's, for some reason, people like to see things being abused, and I don't understand that. But it's completely solid there. So anyway, let's do some craziness here. So, got a big old piece of hunk of privet here, and this is obviously very, very hard. We're not going to try to chop through this. This is about 4.5 inches. It'll take me all day to chop through it, but I do want to do a little bit of chopping just so you can get an idea of how well this thing chops, because it's a bushcraft knife, not an axe, but you might need to chop something little, chop some notches or something. It's pretty hefty, so I think it might be a decent chopper. Let's just try it and see. Really hard stuff. Let's try something a little bit different. This may be almost rotted here, but let's try it and see. We'll do a little chopping on it too. Maybe we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's pretty rotted. I also had some people tell me that I should be ashamed of myself as a scout leader, now I guess former scout leader at this point, to be chopping like this without exercising the proper safety procedures. But all I can say is I hadn't cut anything yet. So there we go. They're gonna have to get over it too. So I'm just probably making a lot of people mad today. Okay, so pretty solid, but it's just not super dense hardwood. We're gonna go ahead and baton this just for the heck of it, because I like to. And let's just take, maybe this will make a baton. I don't know. A lot of people don't like this either. Say it's not what knives are intended or designed to do, but I say, who made them the arbiters of what knives are supposed to do? That's what I say. let's just split this privet out and see what happens. This is some seriously hard stuff here, no doubt about it. All right, let's split that one down. I'm trying to get in the middle because we had like a hurricane come through the other night and knocked down a bunch of stuff, and everything's wet. So you can see here the potential usefulness of being able to baton something, because if you need to split out some smaller pieces or flat pieces or whatever, you can do that. So, but how about some feathers? You know, we're going to make some feather curls. We're going to call them curls. I keep calling them feathers, but because of the term feather stick, but they're probably more accurately called curls. Now you got to be real careful here, this choil, because if you try to use that for your finger, it's gonna hurt you. You're gonna be bleeding before it's over with. And so the blade is actually about 1 inch from your finger. Not too big a fan of that design, to be honest with you. It puts your leverage way out, at least 1 inch away from your hand. So you can. I like to be able to get right up close to it, to be honest with you. But it does okay. Go ahead and carve us out a few of these. And something I didn't talk about is the grind on this thing, and it's really, it seems like kind of a saber grind, but it's got a little bit of a recurve in it, and then it thickens up here, so it's kind of almost like a compound grind, because the tip is very, very thick on this thing. It's a lot thinner here than it is up here, so in this part it's kind of thin. And then as it gets up here, the whole thing thickens up to this point for strength, which gives you a steeper angle on the bevel here, or shallower angle, depending on how you look at it, but it's not as sharp up here, is my point. I like to see how well it does. Just gentle pressure, even on this hard wood. And privet is really dense wood. That's what this is. And you can get some tiny little curls though if you're careful with it. And you do that slicing movement. But the problem is, because the angle of the grind, kind of a compound angle, you don't get to maintain a consistent, you know, it's kind of change your attack, so to speak, a little bit. There we go. Had to find it. Now we're getting some super fine little curls now. I mean, really, 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 really fine. Okay. Hopefully I can get a close-up of that and show you just how pretty that is. So let's cut those off. And those are nice. So, and you might be able to get a fire going with those just by themselves, although they still feel a little damp. But just in case, speaking of damp, I got some fat wood that's been laying out on the ground here, and I think what I'm going to do is split off a little piece of it here. Oh man, look at that. Would you just look at that? Just so I can smell it. Just smell that. Oh man, that is completely glorious. And I'm going to carve some little feathers off of here, or curls off of here. What I want to try to do is see if I can scrape some up, because the coating, you never know about coated blades, but we're going to try to see if it'll scrape some fat wood. Not doing that great. Let's try the bigger piece and see if maybe it's just because this has got some give to it, it's not scraping. We can try this one, it's no give at all. Let's see if it'll scrape better. It scrapes a little better because it doesn't have that, it's not giving underneath the pressure of the blade. Still not great though. I'm having to really put a lot of pressure on it, and really to get that furry stuff there. But we're going to try that. We'll take that there now. We'll see if maybe carve a few more of these little curls here off of too, because we got some mosquitoes out here, and maybe we can get rid of them. We'll put all this to the side before we do anything else with the fat wood. We're going to take the ferro rods that come with these. And this is actually off a different knife, but it's the same one that comes with all of them. We'll see if we can get some. So we got a little bit of fat wood there, so it strikes a ferro rod pretty good. You put a little pressure on it. Let's see what it'll do with these feathers without the fat wood. Actually got some pretty good sparks coming off of it. And look, she got it. And this is somewhat damp wood, but it worked. How about that? Now, let's see, and by the way, it's kind of been my experience that these coated blades, once you get them to scrape a little bit, it kind of creates a burr on the edge there. So let's just see if it scrapes the fat wood better now. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Not too bad. I also scraped my knuckles, so. Now let's show you something. This is why I love me some fat wood though, because you saw how much it took to strike that, right? Let's just try this. Yep, I love me some fat wood. Okay, well there's that. Okay, well that was some of the practical testing of the Jeo Tec number 9. Gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised by this knife. I was a little concerned about the coating, that it wasn't going to scrape very well, but it actually did fine on the ferro rod. The edge, once I got used to it, let me see if I can get you a better close-up on that. You can see that this part here is thinner. As it gets up to here, it kind of gets thicker. Not on the back, but on the main grind bevel here. So the edge up top here, you can see, is a lot shallower of a secondary bevel of a grind there, but this part here carves really well, and that kind of gives you a tougher area for doing some harder tasks. So feels really good in your hand. I like the jimping. So anyway, that's the practical stuff. As you know, here at Survival on Purpose, we are all about the science, and to that end, we maintain a state-of-the-art, cutting-edge knife testing facility. One of the stations we like to put test stations we like to put every fixed blade through, these full tank fixed blades, is the balance orientation. Where is it? Right there. Balance orientation and rotation device. Check the balance on this thing. So we're going to do that right now. I also like to kind of like those little calibration mistakes, because they do give you an opportunity to check the integrity of the construction. But I don't like to have too many of them. It's embarrassing. That was a decent balance test. Let's try one more. All right, we're going to call this one balance. Chuck Norris can win a game of Connect 4 in 3 moves. Okay, well, that's the Jeo Tec number 9, and I got to say, I kind of thought from the very first time I picked this up and held it, this is going to be an extremely well balanced knife. You can just kind of tell from the weight distribution, the way the handle smoothly slides out of your hand. It's just a fun one to balance test. I'll say this also about this knife. I think it's a really solid knife. The blade shape is very, very sturdy. The fact that it does get a little thicker up here on the end is going to give you a lot a lot of capabilities for doing some kind of tough duty, hard duty stuff, but yet it's got enough of a good, just probably from this portion here to here, I'd say is your primary cutting surface. The other is going to be more for, like, you know, light chopping and stuff, you know, batoning maybe. Altogether, I think this is a winner. I can't find anything that I don't like about it. The only thing that I'll say is, I don't know, that choil seems a little big for me right there. Just doesn't seem to be necessary for it to be that big. It's not big enough to put your finger in, but it's way bigger than it needs to be for a sharpening choil. So I would have rather seen the edge come way down to about right here, you know, and have just a little sharpening choil, still maintain the finger guard, have more edge, and you know, not have that. To my mind, that's just wasted real estate, so to speak. But so, I mean, if there's any kind of negative, that would be the negative I would have on it. Other than that, this is a really solid, capable knife. I really like the sheaths that come with these things. They're super well made, traditional leather sheaths. Altogether, just a real solid knife. And again, the only place I've really been able to find these lately is on Amazon, but if you search around, there may be somewhere else. I couldn't find this black one on Amazon. They did have the other version. So anyway, thanks again to the folks at Jeo Tec for sending me this so I can show it to you. And again, this is the final one I have for Sharp Saturday, so we'll see if you're interested in seeing some more. They have a few more models. Let me know. I'll get in touch with them, see if they want to send them along. But I gotta say, I'm pretty pleased with all the stuff I've seen from them. They just make some really nice stuff over there in Spain. So anyway, thanks again to them, and thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. I really appreciate your support once again. My name is Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.